Welcome back to Wainsider, where we dive deep into the stories that shake the wrestling world to its core. Tonight, we're stepping into a tragedy that's left us all speechless, a gut-wrenching moment that transcends the ring and hits at the heart of family, loyalty, and legacy. The news broke like a thunderclap. The youngest daughter of a WWE superstar, a member of the legendary Anoa'i family tied to the bloodline, has passed away from lung cancer. This isn't just a headline, it's a wound that cuts deep, and we're going to unpack it with the respect and raw emotion it deserves. So, let's take a breath and walk through this together, starting with the family that's been the backbone of WWE for decades. The bloodline isn't just a faction, it's a dynasty built on sweat, sacrifice, and an unspoken code of loyalty. From the Wild Samoans, Afa and Sika, carving their names into wrestling history, to Roman Reigns carrying the weight of the Universal Championship, this family has been the heartbeat of WWE. Their story is one of power, of standing tall as a unit against any storm. Afa and Sika, the Trailblazers, wrestled through an era where every match was a battle for respect, laying the foundation for their sons and nephews to dominate. Roman, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, they've all carried the Anoa'i name with pride, turning it into a symbol of untouchable strength. But beneath that strength, there's always been pressure, the kind that comes with being the standard bearers of a legacy. That pressure isn't just about winning titles, it's about holding the family together in an industry that thrives on chaos. Every member of the bloodline has felt it, the expectation to be perfect, to never crack, to uphold the family name no matter the cost. Roman, as the tribal chief, has been the face of this burden, orchestrating the faction's dominance while balancing the egos and ambitions of his cousins. The Usos, Jimmy and Jay, have danced between loyalty to Roman and their own desires for individual glory. Solo, the enforcer, has been the silent storm, his loyalty unquestioned but his inner thoughts a mystery. And then there's the unspoken resentment, the kind that festers when family and business collide, when personal dreams get tangled in the family's grand narrative. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. This family dynamic, this delicate balance of love and obligation, has always been the bloodline's greatest strength and its quiet vulnerability. Off-screen, the Anoa'i family has faced real-life trials that mirror the drama we see in the ring. The loss of Sika Anoa'i in June 2024 and Afa Anoa'i in August 2024 shook the wrestling world, reminding us that even legends are mortal. These losses brought the family closer, or so it seemed, as they leaned on each other to carry their legacy forward. But grief has a way of exposing cracks, of forcing truths to the surface. And now, with this heartbreaking news of a young life lost to lung cancer, those cracks are threatening to shatter everything the bloodline stands for. Halfway through our story, we reach the moment that changes everything. The announcement didn't come from a press release or a WWE broadcast, it hit the internet like a rogue wave, a post from a family member that stopped fans in their tracks. The youngest daughter of a bloodline superstar, a child who represented the next generation of this storied family, has been taken by lung cancer. The details are scarce, the pain too raw to be dissected on public platforms. This isn't a storyline crafted for ratings, it's a real tragedy that has left the Anoa'i family reeling. The wrestling world, so used to blurring the lines between fiction and reality, is now faced with a loss that no script could ever capture. The emotional aftermath is like a storm that won't let up. For the family, this loss is a wound that cuts deeper than any in-ring betrayal. Imagine the weight of it. A child, the hope of the future, gone too soon. Backstage, whispers are circulating among WWE insiders, with talent and crew alike grappling with how to support the family while respecting their privacy. Some say Roman Reigns, the stoic leader, has been uncharacteristically quiet, retreating to be with his kin. Others murmur about the Usos, whose usual charisma has been replaced by a somber resolve. Solo Sikoa, ever the enigma, is said to be carrying his grief like a weight he's too proud to share. The locker room, a place of camaraderie and competition, feels heavier now, as everyone processes what this means for a family that's been their cornerstone. What does this mean for the bloodline's legacy in WWE? The faction has been through wars, against rivals, against each other, against the world. But this is a battle they can't fight in the ring. The loss of a child could either bind them tighter or fracture them beyond repair. Storylines may pause, matches may be rescheduled, but the real question is how the Anoa'i family will carry on. Will Roman's tribal chief persona, built on control and dominance, soften in the face of this personal tragedy? Will the Usos find a way to channel their grief into their performances, or will it pull them away from the spotlight? And Solo, the youngest, what does this do to a man already wrestling with his place in the family's shadow? Backstage, there's talk of how WWE will handle this delicately. The company has faced criticism in the past for exploiting real-life tragedies for storylines, but this feels different. Sources close to the creative team suggest that Triple H, now steering WWE's creative ship, is adamant about giving the family space. There's no rush to turn this into a plot point, no angle to capitalize on grief. Instead, there's a push to honor the Anoa'i family's contributions, perhaps with a tribute at an upcoming pay-per-view. Fans are already flooding social media with messages of love and support, using hashtags like #BloodlineStrong to rally around the family. But behind the hashtags, there's a quieter truth. No amount of fan support can fill the void left by this loss. As we near the end, let's reflect on what this tragedy reveals about the bloodline and the wrestling world at large. Wrestling thrives on betrayal, heels turning on faces, brothers turning on brothers. But this is a betrayal of a different kind, not by a person but by fate itself. The Anoa'i family has always been about blood, about the unbreakable bond that holds them together through every suplex and storyline. Now, that blood feels tainted by loss, by the cruel twist of a disease that doesn't care about titles or legacies. The trust they've placed in their family's strength, in their ability to overcome anything, has been shaken. And yet, there's a flicker of hope in their resilience, in the way they've faced every challenge head-on. In closing, this is more than a wrestling story, it's a human one. The bloodline, for all its scripted drama, is rooted in a real family, one that's given everything to entertain us. The loss of this young soul is a reminder that behind the pyrotechnics and promos, there are hearts that break, dreams that falter, and bonds that endure. As we mourn with the Anoa'i family, we're reminded that betrayal doesn't always come from a rival's chair shot or a partner's turn. Sometimes, it's life itself that betrays us, leaving us to pick up the pieces and carry on. For the bloodline, that journey continues, but it's one marked by a grief that will forever shape their legacy. Thank you for joining us on this somber deep dive, and until next time, keep the faith, and keep the love.